Hey there, this is Burnt Coal. Thanks for joining me. Right now we're riding down Interstate 66, getting south out of Virginia into North Carolina. It's about 5 in the morning on the 27th of December 2025. We're going over some hills, so thanks for bearing with the shakiness a little bit. Because yeah, I've got something important to talk to you about. I am a United States veteran from the Navy, and that's all I'm going to say about it. I don't want to be one of these guys that tries to think that their service makes them tough or that they have some kind of individual quality, because I'm not going to talk about the individual veteran. I'm not going to talk about what a person has to do, the different, I think sometimes silly qualifications that they have to go through, or the requisites that they have to hit. I think that the military-industrial complex in itself has done a really good job of tricking people, tricking Americans into thinking that it exists as this, force for good. And it's really just a business. And yeah, okay, I think that's the good line that I want to hit in is we're going to talk about in this video how the American military systems have affected the American government and American corporate environments. So, join me for a few minutes. We're going to roll down the highway. I think traffic's lightened up a little bit, because you need to understand that if you're in America and you either work, you work in America, the systems that you on, whether you're an independent business owner and you don't work in a big company, or you're at some kind of small company, whatever it is, you've been affected by the military culture here. Everybody thumps their chest and says, thank you for your service to the veterans, but there's a whole, it's not as nice and pleasant and as booyah and there for the people as I want to make it seem. I think that what I want to get to is that the leaders that came out of World War II then became the leaders in corporate America and then government. And what does that mean? Well, the military itself the American military is run as a hierarchy, meaning that there's a rank structure that is super important. They're in a uniform structure too, and by uniform, just think of uniform as in standardization. Something is standard. Something is understood as standard. Something that deviates is not very, very accepted in the military, because if something if something deviates, it's a variable, and variables are hard to plan for. And in war, people love plans. People love thinking that there's going to be some kind of plan, and that plan's going to work in war. But there's different thought leaders in war. I'm not going to go into war-fighting tactics in itself. But I will touch on one warfighting tactic really quick that has a direct link to corporate America. Right now, 2025. Something that's like, I can tie this, you can take that string directly. It's a word called Scrum. I've got a heavy emotional attachment to it, so it's choking me up. Scrum is a system of management that was developed by a fighter pilot. He's a pretty cool guy. This guy named Jeff Sutherland from Massachusetts. He is a super smart guy. And back in Korea, he left his academic environment, joined as a pilot, and he was a fighter pilot. And he noticed that as fighter pilots went out for their flight missions, they would have a little planning session before they would all take off. They would fly off and encounter the enemy, and whatever would happen, they would collect their information, or whatever would happen, they would come back and they would have a debrief. They would all talk about what happened on that flight. And that just very simple process, that's all it is. Just how I told you, in 30 seconds, you've got a bunch of management consultants that then took that and packaged it up and made it just this $1 million idea. And they've been running with it and making this whole academic learned thing. And now software developers, so fighter pilots then, software developers now are using that same system of management. planning for, and I'm really like, I'm giving you just drops of the whole knowledge base, because I studied Scrum as a corporate, excuse me, as a management structure, because whenever I got out of the Navy, I wanted to have some way to go into the outside world and have a job, made some good money. That was the American dream, you know, like that was going to be the stepping stone from being a veteran, was to have some technical knowledge. I got out in 2019. I had an information technology degree and a couple different certificates. A certificate for project management, certificate for cybersecurity. I mean, I'm saying all that because that's what people told me to get. That's what people said, hey dude, like if it's, we're going to need that on the outside. That's going to be where the outside is going. And I keep saying outside because whenever someone is in the military, life is completely different. And I'm going to share how that is in 3 points. Just really quick points, all right? Healthcare, already taken care of. It's already worked in, and it's $27 a month. Like, if you didn't, like, I probably could put that on a banner, and people would be so pissed off that, yeah, military members pay into TRICARE, and it's just $27 a month. It's been $27 a month since the 90s, or whenever it was. Like, it's just flat, small, tiny rate. There's medical personnel worked into every military unit, so I think that's why they keep the cost down low. And generally, if you're in the military, you're in decent shape. So, healthcare, that was something that I noticed. And I was like, oh, this is, and I was in Obama's Navy, so healthcare was a topic. I was just like, why is this such a big deal? Like, we're paying $27. Really stupid. I know, stupid Cole. I don't know stuff. Anyways, being in the service, you also don't get fired. I'm giving you guys what I like to call a poop sandwich, alright? The good thing comes first, bad thing in the middle, and another good thing. So just bear with me. The good thing is you're in the military, you get healthcare. The bad thing is you're going to get just a rough, tough work lifestyle. And yeah, it's just, you got that rank structure where people are bossing you around and ordering you. But if you can bear through that, or like me, if you're just a dirtbag and that happens to you all the time where you just get yelled at, the good news is you're not going to get fired. You're not going to get fired. That's like, man, unless you really mess up your job. If you mess up your job, then yeah, that's on you. But you're not going to be straight up, hey man, you're doing a great job. Oh, you're getting awards? Oh, that's really great. Yeah, you're helping other people and leading trainings. Oh, that's great. Sorry, we just had a budget cut, so you're out of here. That doesn't happen. That happened to me a few years later. Yeah, not even a few years later. That happened to me the first job I got out of the Navy with. So, you don't get fired. Healthcare. And also just the people that you meet, the community that you build is so tight and close. It really is. I really miss a lot of the people that I met and served with, because there's something about the esprit de corps and camaraderie that you miss. So those are the good things I'll say about, the military service. Now, the rank structure that people then take to the outside, that's something that that's not always supposed to work. I mean, the leaders who get out, they stick within themselves. I don't have another, I'm not going to be, I'll just be very vague, right? And I'll just say, like, you've probably seen plenty of examples where it's been a hiring preference for a veteran, and then that veteran still keeps their same kind of ways. That's it. That there's no, okay, hey, thank you, now let's get back out. And I'll tell you why veterans keep their ways whenever they get out. This is the point that I'm trying to get to, is because the outside, every other work environment in America, is not as structured to take care of just thought and decision making. I mean, not thought and decision making, excuse me, it's just like, again, in the military, it was just like, there was always a sense of, you knew what you were doing, and you knew who was doing it and what they had. regardless, any one of those factors could be a good or a positive or negative. They could be in the up or down values, but you knew what you were doing, who you had, what you had to do it with. And from what I've seen in my work before and after the service, it's just a trick. I feel like corporate America, or at least companies and all that,
Vehicle on shoulder ahead.
There's no real defined stability. There's no like set in stone thing. I mean, unless something builds a legacy. But in our age of disruption, that's I was about to get on a whole other topic about disrupting markets and whatnot. I feel like there should be more security in the United States, a lot more guard nets. I feel like the people who bitch and moan about welfare states and SNAP benefits really don't understand that the military is the biggest welfare queen in the country. Just straight up, the military eats so many of your tax dollars and provides none of the value. I'm not saying none of the value, that's kind of harsh, right? But just, I've seen Amazon workers who are just busting their butts and peeing in bottles. And then you got somebody who just, shows up to their office, really, office workers, show up to the office at maybe 9 after they worked out, grabbed some coffee for a few hours, show up to the office at 9, saying they already started work at 7. Oh, I had my phone on, yeah, I was ready. And then, we're just going to dip out after lunch because all of our reports have been given to the CEO, and that's about it for the day. It's, you can probably tell I'm frustrated. My main frustrations are how the military is put on a pedestal, and then those same people who hold the military on a pedestal don't do anything to make the outside better. That's it. I am frustrated with how just the outside of America, or the outside of the military, how the other half lives. It's not even a half. It's just a small little point. But if you've never served, if you're watching this, life is. I mean, I'm at the point where I'm like, I would probably go back in. It's there. I don't know. Like, there's still that pride in me that's like, no, it doesn't make. But what I'm trying to convey to you is life isn't all bad in the military, but it's set up that way in just a weird structure. There's something going on with keeping our military standing and people not working, but still there, still in uniform. And yet we don't have any of the social programs. We don't have it's just we don't have unemployment that's really effective. We don't have a good, job structure to even get people employment in the first place. I mean, it's just a Wild West. It's still the Wild West. I mean, not even the Wild West. It's just, there's a lot of grifting going on that I don't understand. And that's probably what it all comes down to, viewer, is, Cole just doesn't get what's going on, why stuff doesn't make sense on the outside. And, if I was to take it from a military perspective, I would say there's just a whole lot of stuff running into the ground that I've seen since I've got out. I'd love to help out with it, use my service, maybe use my veteran preference. I'd love to run for office. That's always a good thing. Oh yeah, so-and-so served. They would definitely make a good councilwoman or mayor. Being in the service it's like, I don't know, it's just, there hasn't been that translation. That's it. There hasn't been that translation from American outside life, American military life, and it's not smooth. Here's a veteran just riding along in his car and talking about how life sucks on the outside. I know. It's a really weird spot to be in, because I knew a lot of people, and I even said fuck the Navy a couple times while I was in. And now that I'm out, there's things that I miss about it. But yeah, all the lessons that I got have stuck with me, and I'll be sharing them with you. So if you watched all this, thank you. Stay tuned for more lessons from my time in the service, and maybe I'll keep it on the highway and work on my delivery too a bit more. Until next time.